Welcome to Richard Suttmeyer's 4 in 4. 4 blips on my radar screen presented in 4 minutes or less. I end the week comparing today's great credit crunch with the Great Depression, which Fed Chief Bernanke talked about yesterday. My first blip explains how Bernanke described the Great Depression in Q&A after a speech yesterday. Fed Chief Bernanke described the Great Depression as a period of 12 years which caused GDP to lose a third of its value and the unemployment rate touched 25%. He said that the current credit crunch will in no way compare to that economic suffering. My second blip is making some points that any comparison to the Great Depression makes no sense. The unemployment rate has little meaning in today's economy as many workers are partially employed, leave the workforce, or set up business on the internet, which did not exist in the 1930s. With today's credit crunch, there are many new terms that did not exist 70 years ago. During the Great Depression, no one could spell derivative. Subprime mortgages would be decades away. Credit cards were not invented. Banks did not offer home equity loans, and no one had a credit score. Today, there are 500 trillion in notional amount of derivative contracts spread around the world, with 165 trillion among FDIC-insured financial institutions. In the 1930s, community and regional banks did not have another hidden inventory of 3 million new homes pre-funded through $629 billion in construction and development loans. My third blip describes how bad things could become during the Great Credit Crunch. The Great Credit Crunch began in 2007, and I predict that it will last 6 years. It could cost GDP between $1.5 and $2 trillion, about 1/8 of GDP. The unemployment rate has little meaning in this economy. I suggest calculating an underemployment rate. Workers who lost 100,000 jobs for much lower paying jobs. I bet that the underemployment rate could be already 10%. Today's housing bubble is much bigger than that of the Great Depression, even adjusted for inflation. So far today, foreclosures are much lower than in the 1930s, but we're only 1/3 the way through the Great Credit Crunch. Today we are in the Diana Ross phase, upside down and inside out, as many homeowners are forced out of homes by foreclosure. I made some suggestions to ease the mortgage mess yesterday evening in Traders Club, which you can listen to in an archive on the new Right Side Advisors website. My fourth blip looks at General Electric as the tell for the U.S. and global economies. GE certainly did not bring good things to light this morning, and the stock is likely to open below its 50-day simple moving average at 35.07, which targets the March 10 low of 31.65. Weakness in all GE business lines and lowered guidance clearly shows that the Great Credit Crunch is becoming a global event. This is a contagion that Bernanke does not recognize yet. Send your comments and questions to support at rightsideadvisors.com. That's today's 4 in 4. Enjoy your weekend.